I loved the people that I met, and it was just a fun and really different environment. Like, I live in Dubai, guys. Moving from Dubai to Colombia, like, who does that? Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Adele and I'm an expat that lives in Dubai. I've been a digital nomad over the course of my life a couple of times now, so I wanted to tell you the main thing you need to know about how to become a digital nomad quickly and successfully. But before we get into all of that, please subscribe to my channel if you're not following already, and click the notification bell so that you know when I post a new video. This channel is all about the expat live abroad lifestyle, so if you're into that kind of content, make sure you're following. Right. Let's get to it. If you're watching this, you're probably wondering how to just up sticks and work remotely, or you might be wondering what the hell is a digital nomad. I'm gonna read off my blog, which is herexpatlife.com. So if you want to know about the whole expat experience, not just about me, but from other people who've been living abroad, make sure you check out the website. It's called Her Expat Life. Very simple. Right, what is a digital nomad? Digital nomads are people who are location independent and use technology to perform their job. Digital nomads work remotely, telecommuting, rather than being physically present at a company's headquarters or office. And that is the definition given by Investopedia. A very simple way to explain it is that a digital nomad is someone that works remotely anywhere in the world and connects using their laptop to do their job. Very simple. And that's it. My first experience as a digital nomad was when I moved to Paris with just a couple of £100 in my pocket, and I was like, look, I'm a student, I don't have high standards at this point in my life. Like, I just want somewhere to live, a couple of things to do so that I can bring in money. And there wasn't really a term digital nomad at that time. Like, I like to think of it as I was just a hustler. And then the most recent time I was a digital nomad was about a month ago when I moved to Medellin. And there I was working on my own business and learning technology and coding and basically working remotely without having to be in an office or without having to physically be in a school to learn about this. And while I was in Medellin, I was with a bunch of other friends of mine who work for big organizations like Snapchat and Amazon and a range of different companies, some known, some unknown, and others who were actually running their own businesses and liaising with their employees from a completely different country, and in many cases a different time zone. So I've given you the whole context of this video so you kind of have the gist of what a digital nomad is. So before you do anything else related to your process of moving abroad and becoming a digital nomad, the main thing you need to know is that you need to take a step back, know your skills, and recognize your value. The main way you do this is to just literally have a think, have a look at your CV. What is your background? What's your education? What kind of skills can you give to a company that doesn't need to be done physically at a desk at a 9 to 5? If you consider what I did when I moved to Paris, is I was a fresh law graduate and I knew that I had the skills from my education that could be transferred to any company. And those skills are things like attention to detail. I'm pretty good with English. I mean, sometimes it's a bit suspect, but let's not talk about that. Like, literally, I can't pronounce some words. Like, I pronounce them quite funny because I also grew up in Nigeria. So I'm very proud of that and I'm not bothered by it. And usually it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. What I did was I contacted a friend of mine who lived in London and ran a copywriting business. And I said to him, look, dude, it's like, I'm in Paris now and I'm looking for a gig. So if you have any articles, any things that you'd like me to review, please send them across. And that was basically one of the main ways that I was able to sustain myself, because he was paying me about £200 to review documents for companies, things like prospectuses or helping people evaluate their CVs, like typing typos and grammatical errors and stuff like that. And it was quite a lucrative job to do. And then the other thing I did was that I taught English. I posted an advert on one of these French job boards, something like Gumtree or Craigslist. And I basically just said, look, if anyone's willing to learn conversational English with a native English speaker, get in touch and I will help you out. And I was earning like about £20 per hour at the time to just sit in a cafe with someone and speak to them in English. Another way that you can do this where you're not working for yourself or like trying to find a new job is that you actually speak to the company that you work for. This basically is more relevant if you work for a company that's international, so they have offices all over the world, and actually your job is a kind of job that can be done remotely. So for example, if you do sales where you're going to speak to clients and you have meetings all the time, this necessarily won't work for you. But for someone like me, in certain situations, I was able to work abroad. So I remember once I was traveling to the States for an extensive period of time, and I just spoke to my boss. I was like, look, can I please do these deals from New York? And sometimes I won't be able to go into the office. Can I do them from home in my hotel as long as I have access to good internet? And she was cool with that because the transaction timeline for the deal I was working on didn't require me to physically be in the office. Like, I was able to draft my contracts, was able to do the work I wanted to do without physically being there. And if I needed to speak to my clients, they were just a phone call away. So essentially, you do have to bear in mind though that if you're in this situation, consider time differences, because sometimes when I had to call my clients while I was in New York and they were based in Dubai, I had to wake up at like 3 a.m. in the morning to take conference calls. But you think about it, you're the one who wanted to be a digital nomad, you're the one who wanted to live abroad and explore different things. So sometimes it's a sacrifice that you just have to make. And for me, it was completely worth it. Working in New York was such a really interesting experience, and I had the opportunity to, feel like I was in Sex and the City or something like that. So again, don't forget, if you really want to live abroad as a digital nomad, above all else, what you need to do is evaluate your own skills. And if you're lacking in anything, then you can go on some courses and teach yourself skills that are transferable across a whole broad range of industries. I would say that one of the most relevant remote jobs that you can do that actually pays quite well can be copywriting and SEO writing, and you can take a number of online courses that will teach you these skills even if you don't have formal education in them. And if you're younger, this might be easier to do. If you're older, you might have to explore other platforms. But again, no matter what stage you are in your life, it's just knowing the skills that you have and whether they can be transferred to working remotely, and that you don't have to be physically in one place to get your job done. There's lots of other things you need to consider if you want to become a digital nomad, things like taxes, the location you're based, whether it's a digital nomad friendly country. But I'll cover these things in a different video, and some of them are already discussed on my blog, so make sure you check it out. It's called herexpatlife.com, and make sure that you're subscribed as well, because when I post new videos you need to know about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions and if you've been a digital nomad, post your experiences below. So far, I would say in terms of my digital nomad experience, my favorite one, maybe it's because it's the most recent, has been the time I spent living and working in Colombia, because I love the co-working spaces. I love the people that I met, and it was just a fun and really different environment. I live in Dubai, guys. Moving from Dubai to Colombia, who does that? Anyway, thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.